Bluey received a new antique doll. It was beautiful with large glass eyes, but those eyes seemed too alive. The doll always faced Bluey, no matter where it was placed, even if Bluey turned away or moved to another room. At first it was amusing. Bluey would laugh trying to catch the doll in the act, but it invariably stared back at her. However, Bluey then started noticing her other toys disappearing or breaking whenever the doll was near. Her favorite plush dinosaur ended up with a torn leg, and several building blocks simply vanished. At night when everyone was asleep, Bluey would wake up. She heard soft, cautious footsteps from the living room. Then she would see a shadow gliding across the floor, though the doll was supposed to be on a shelf in its box. Bluey would pretend to be asleep, but her heart pounded. Soon the doll began leaving gifts. Terrifying, crudely made figures from twigs, fur, and something else Bluey couldn't identify. These figures always appeared near Bluey's bed. Mum and Dad saw nothing strange when Bluey showed them the broken toys or odd figures, attributing it all to kids' games or you must be clumsy. Their denial only deepened Bluey's loneliness. One morning, Bluey woke to find the doll sitting right by her bed. Its eyes were not merely glass, they were absolute bottomless black voids. The doll held one of Bluey's old torn plush toys, that very dinosaur. A slow, distorted, almost sinister smile appeared on its face, unnaturally stretching its porcelain cheeks. The doll slowly raised its thin arm and with terrifying precision pointed at sleeping Bingo in the adjacent bed. Bluey froze, daring not to breathe. The room grew intensely cold. The air around the doll seemed to freeze. A sound, a very faint, barely audible rustle, as if something unseen was moving around the doll, and then a crack, like something fragile breaking. Bluey heard Bingo quietly sigh in her sleep as if dreaming. The doll didn't move, but its black eyes were fixed on Bingo. In the morning, when Bluey finally forced herself to move, the doll was no longer by the bed. It stood on the shelf again in its box as if nothing had happened. But the dinosaur it had held that night was now missing a leg. It was torn off and gone. And Bingo woke up staring at the wall, her eyes slightly wide, and on her neck Bluey saw a faint red mark, like a messy bite. There's a Lost Bluey episode, one that almost feels like a story parents made up to scare their kids. It's called The Nameless Boy. It aired once, if it ever aired at all. Some say it showed up on early morning TV without warning. The episode starts with Bluey and Bingo at the park. It's a cloudy day. The colors are muted. The air feels heavy. They play on the swings, the slides, the usual games. Then Bluey notices him, a boy, sitting alone at the far end of the playground. He doesn't move, he doesn't smile, he just watches. His clothes are old, faded, his fur is pale, almost colorless. Bluey waves. The boy doesn't wave back. Bingo doesn't seem to notice him at first, but later, she whispers, "I don't like him." When Bluey asks why, Bingo says, "Because he knows your name." That night, Bluey dreams of the park, of the boy. He stands closer now, right outside the swings. His mouth moves, but no sound comes out. The next day, Bluey sees him again, not at the park, but across the street from their house, standing still, watching. Bingo refuses to look. She keeps saying, "Don't talk to him, don't answer." But the boy calls anyway. His voice is soft, sweet. He says Bluey's name, perfectly, like he's known it forever. Bluey feels herself walking toward him without meaning to. Her paws move on their own. The world blurs. Only his voice is clear. Bingo grabs her, shakes her, snaps her out of it. The boy frowns, turns, and walks away, slowly disappearing into the mist. That night, Bluey lies awake, listening. For hours she hears nothing. Then, a soft tapping on the window. She peeks. There he is, staring in, smiling now, whispering something she can't quite hear. The screen goes black. No credits, no music, only the faint repeated sound of someone whispering her name, over and over and over. There's a Lost Bluey episode known to very few. It's called The Sandbox. They say it aired once very early in the morning when almost no one was watching. Then it disappeared, as if it had never existed. The episode started normally. Bluey and Bingo were playing at the park. It was a bright, quiet afternoon. Birds sang softly in the background. Everything felt normal, almost too normal. Bingo found a sandbox tucked away in a far corner. a place they'd never noticed before. It looked old, forgotten. The sand inside was darker, almost gray. Bingo jumped in first. She laughed, digging with her paws. Bluey joined her, smiling. But when she dug deeper, her paw touched something hard, a wooden board, buried just beneath the surface. They brushed the sand away, revealing a trapdoor, old, rotten, with a rusty handle. Bingo giggled and pulled it open. Cold air rushed out from below, a narrow hole, leading into darkness. Bluey hesitated. Bingo, more curious, lowered herself into the hole. Her voice echoed from below. "It's just a tunnel, come on!" Bluey followed. The tunnel sloped down deeper and deeper. Their giggles faded, swallowed by the earth. The walls were dirt, packed and crumbling. And soon, there were doors. Wooden doors, each one slightly ajar. Behind some, empty rooms. Behind others, shadows that moved just out of sight. The further they went, the more the tunnels branched out. Twisting, splitting, leading nowhere. Or maybe somewhere they shouldn't go. Bluey called for Bingo. No answer, only a hollow, wet echo. She ran, turning corners blindly. The dirt under her paws grew cold and slick. She passed rooms where toys floated weightlessly. Rooms where faint crying echoed without a source. In one room, she thought she saw herself. A version of her staring back through a dusty window. But it didn't move, didn't blink. It only watched. Finally, after what felt like hours, Bluey found the trapdoor again. She scrambled out, pulling herself back into the daylight. The park was empty, silent. The sky was darker now, bruised purple and gray. Bingo sat alone on the swings, staring at the ground, silent, still. Bluey called to her. Bingo looked up and smiled, but her eyes were wrong, too wide, too dark. The episode ended with Bluey standing frozen, watching her sister swing slowly back and forth. The wind howled. The camera pulled away, rising higher and higher, showing the sandbox from above, and the dozens of small rotted trapdoors, hidden all across the ground. The screen faded to black. No music, only the low sound of something shifting, deep beneath the earth.